Welcome to the first edition of the Michelle Clark-Heard Show on YouTube and Cincinnati Bearcats social media. Glad to have you join us as we have just begun the 2020-2021 season. Matt Noonan here with you from our socially distanced studio location, being joined by Cincinnati women's basketball head coach Michelle Clark-Heard. Coach, wish we could be doing this in person. Obviously a different kind of season for all of us, but very excited about this new show this year and a chance for us to kind of go in depth a little bit more with all the stories heading into and out of all the games.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, and I just really appreciate the opportunity and always just love to have the chance to just talk about our team and talk about just the growth and everything else. And like you said, it's just awesome to be in this situation where we can even have the ability to be able to talk about games and everything now with everything that's going on in the world.
You know, we'll have a chance to get into the games that you've played so far, currently 1-1 on the season, a win over NKU, a loss at Florida. We'll go into those a little bit more in depth. But before we kind of get into that, I'm just curious to kind of get your initial kind of big picture thoughts on where you are in this season, and really even more so just the difference we're seeing this year with all the COVID protocols and how things are different this year. I mean, I'm sure we could do a whole show on just that alone, but You've seen your fair share of it, I think, as much as any team. We saw your first game against North Carolina A&T have to, be canceled and then rescheduled against NKU. The game against Louisville, unfortunately, was canceled, and now we had the crosstown shootout against Xavier happen to be rescheduled. But you've had to deal with a lot of that schedule adjustment here only a week into the season.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we talk to our kids and our players about being flexible and understanding and knowing that this is going to be one of those years that, things could be just at the drop of a dime. Everything could be different. So you're right. It's been a lot of change. It's been very fortunate to have a great staff, and everyone's just put their head down and went to work and try to, get on the phone and get calls and everything in to see who's looking for a game. Jeff Walls actually put together a group that's kind of like in the region with different coaches. And so when anything happens, we all try to go in there and ask, does anybody need a game, or with this date work, with this time work? So that's been really good. And and I actually talked to him about trying to fill that spot with the Xavier game being postponed. So just a lot of word of mouth, and then getting on the phone and having to do a lot of contacting people, and then understanding and knowing that you might have a change in something really fast.
And especially for a team like the Bearcats, when you have so many newcomers, I'm sure, and I know you've talked a lot about it, how these early games are crucial, just getting that playing time together and being able to gel together, because conference play is just right around the corner, and these early games are a big building block leading to that.
Well, and I think you said, and you're right, having newcomers and just learning and getting the feel, and, give Imari a lot of credit. Like, she's really worked to try to make sure that we can just put people in position where we can continue to keep getting better. But I think the first two games have been a big indication of us growing. We went from one half in the NKU game to playing better in the second half. Going to Florida and playing, on the road at an SEC school and being in the game practically into the last 6 minutes. So just growing all across the board. But those game situations, playing time is the things that's going to help us continue to keep growing.
Coach, looking more specifically at the NKU game, it started off the season with a victory. The first half, as often first halves in seasons can go, sometimes the shot's not exactly all falling for you, but you were able to really kind of gather yourselves up coming out of the locker room. Imari Thomas played a big part of that, as we've seen her so many times, 28 points out of halftime. But really, I think a feather in your team's cap that you're able to make those adjustments and have such a strong second half. Well,
when you look at us not having practice players in practice, you look at everything that we went through. We knew we were going to have, it was going to be rough in the beginning. But I give a lot of credit to this team and to Mari and how she stepped up, and Ram stepped up big in the second half. And I think it just really showed the staff, like, how much we had the ability to continue to keep playing and growing. And so you're right. It was kind of a tale of two halves, and just really excited to be able to have a great player like Mari on our team. So, my job and our job as coaches is to make sure we go in and evaluate. And that's what we did at halftime. She didn't get enough touches. And so we needed to make sure we adjusted so that happened.
And for Imari's effort, she earned NCAA recognition, the national starting five. She was just 1 point away from her career high, but 28 second-half points. That really shows the kind of player that she is. And, when you have a senior like that, that's a great rock you can lean on.
It definitely is. And especially having, like you said, so many newcomers just really helps us and helps me as a head coach to understand and know that I can go to Imari and we can talk about what needs to be done and how we're going to adjust. She's been a great teammate, great leader, just really trying to be the best that she can be. And our job as coaches is to make sure that we help put her in the best position possible. So it's been a joy to watch her grow. And I'm just excited to continue to see how the rest of these games and the rest of this season plays out.
I know you always want to win every game as much as you can, have everybody, make every shot. But having that bit of adversity, particularly early in the season, I imagine that provides for a great coaching opportunity and a chance to learn and maybe even get better in the long term than, a game when you can kind of get out in front and cruise.
Yeah, it's been a big adjustment and it's been really good for us. I think just learning our players, learning situations. Even going to Florida, playing there and we didn't start out well, but we ended up, picking it up a little bit at the end of, the first quarter was definitely had cut the lead. Then we went out in the second quarter, actually took the lead at one time. The game kept going back and forth. And just really in a situation where we really had an opportunity and a chance to be in a situation that we were competing. But I just really feel like we got to the point where we didn't make some big plays toward the end. They made big plays, and we didn't get stops.
Yeah, you talk about this game in Gainesville. It really felt like a game of runs. They were able to kind of get out of the gate at home, as you expect a lot of home teams to do. But then you mentioned being able to kind of chase them down at the end of the first quarter, taking the lead in the second. It really was back and forth. And I think looking at that final score, to me, I don't think it was really indicative of how most of that game went. It was, they were able to kind of go on one of their big runs at the end of the game, it felt like. And that's why the margin really was a lot more than what we saw for most of the game.
Well, and that's, we talked about that today in film session with our players. With 6 minutes to go, we were only down 6. So we were right there in the game. I think our ability to allow the best player be able to get open threes and get some drives to the basket and some, there was no help side, no coverage. Then we went down on the other end and we turn it over or take a quick shot. So I think it was a really good film session for us today, everyone learning and growing. And then we went out and had a good practice today. So, as a coaching staff, we always sometimes, I know I want to win and right away. And but we also have to continue to keep teaching so we can be the best we can be too.
Coach, I'm interested also to get your perspective on playing on the road in this current COVID era. I mean, we know road games at every level of the game from, when you're down in high school up to professional levels, how difficult road games are. But did you find any extra challenge with it, with the way things are right now, in just terms of how you're able to conduct yourself on the road and kind of find that new rhythm and that new routine and everything being different? I'm sure that's just another challenge on top of having to play an SEC team on the road.
It was different, especially because most of us haven't been on the road since March. And, you talk to different people, hear how it's going to be and what it's going to be. But when you're in it, I think the most important thing we tried to make sure we did was make sure that we made everything seem normal. And, how we handled things, getting to the hotel, what we did, but just being very cautious and mindful. Being in a space for too long with all of us, making sure that we had things planned out before we got there. And then just, again, as I said earlier, as we were talking, just making sure we could be flexible in whatever that looked like. So other than that, I think just being understanding and knowing and being grateful to have the opportunity to be on the road and be able to play. And I think that's something that we tried to make sure that we talked about with our players. And, us as a staff, making sure that we were all just being safe and as safe as possible.
Well, everybody's certainly learning this year, and I'm sure you and the rest of college basketball, it's still going to be kind of a work in progress. Maybe till the end of the season, and you'll continually find a way to get better and better and figure out how not only to be safe, which is the number one priority, but also kind of just optimize how you want to run things and be in the best shape. One thing I do want to look at with that Florida game in particular. One victory for you was the rebounding battle. We saw Aram Dieng have 13 rebounds of her own individually, but you actually out-rebounded them 45-33. That's something you can hang your hat on.
Yes, it is, and that was a big positive for us. I think that was one of the reasons we were able to stay in the game. But then we would turn around and we turned it over just entirely too much. We had 13 in the first half, and I think 11 in the second half. And if you're going to beat a team, a good team, on the road on their home court, you have to take care of the basketball. So you're right. That was something that I was really proud, because that was something that we talked about a lot, something that we try to make sure that we keep focusing on. But we just got to make sure we get better at the little things, getting stops, taking care of the basketball, guarding in situations where we know the players that we need to stop, and just putting all those things together.
Always a great recipe for success. Well, Coach, now looking ahead, unfortunately, we had big plans for this show to be previewing the Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout, something everybody gets so excited about in this city. But unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, Xavier having to reschedule the game. That's currently, I know both you and Xavier trying to see what you can do to maybe play it at a later date. But unfortunately, that game not happening as we had expected. So you talked about adjusting on the fly and being able to change course very quickly. You had a chance to get on the horn and talk with Marquette. And as of now, it looks like you guys are going to have a chance to play on Thursday.
Definitely. And I think that was the biggest thing. That was our biggest thing as a staff, is to, get on the phone, find someone that could definitely have the opportunity to come here and play, especially because we were supposed to have a home game. I wanted to make sure that we could get that worked out, and just really glad that I was able to talk to Megan, and, we got it worked out. And so we're looking forward to the competition there. It's going to be a great game, great challenge for us. They've done phenomenal. She's done a great job there. Was picked sort of toward the bottom last year and finished very, very well. They just do a lot of great things, and so we're excited about that. They have they shoot the three unbelievable. They have they run and do a lot of different things. Love to score points too. So it's definitely going to be a good test for us. Definitely a good game for us, and I'm just really happy that we can have another opportunity to have a game and not have to lay off before us playing Central Michigan.
We talked about that just a bit ago. These early games always important, but for a team as young as the Bearcats, even more important. Like you said, the home games, you don't want to give up those home games. They're so valuable, and great that we'll get a chance to compete here at Fifth Third Arena on Thursday. We're hearing right now a 2 p.m. start. We'll wait for official confirmation on the official announcement.
But definitely, anytime you can have an opportunity to get a game at a late time, and especially for them to agree and come here, they wanted to see if we could do an early tip, and we definitely said, of course. With everything that's going on, realistically, not a lot of fans allowed anyway. We want to make sure that we can accommodate them for accommodating us to be able to have a game. And so I think that's the most important thing. And I would want the same thing if I could get my team back home early and not have to spend the night somewhere.
Certainly something everybody's looking for these days, to be able to have that peace of mind and that extra piece of safety. So we're glad that could be arranged, and glad to have still the game going on here on Thursday at Fifth Third Arena. Hopefully, got our fingers crossed that we can still have the Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout. I'm sure you and Xavier will be continuing to discuss that and see what we can do.
Yeah, I think it's something that we're going to try to look at and see. Unfortunately, conference starts so early, and I know it's the same thing for them. So just trying to figure out maybe somewhere in there we can squeeze in a game. So we'll figure that all out and hopefully get it worked out soon.
Well, it kind of goes with the I guess the theme of the whole season of always be prepared, and who knows what might pop up. So hopefully we still have a chance to have the Crosstown Shootout in this season. Well, Coach, just kind of taking a look at the big picture of what we've had so far. We mentioned 1-1, win at home, loss on the road. With all the new faces, new players on this team, anybody in your mind that's stood out so far, or any particular things you've liked that you've seen?
Yeah, I'm just really impressed just by basically all of our newcomers that are playing. Destiny's done a great job of filling in at that point, and just really doing everything that we feel like we need to get us going and have someone in that position. And then, you have Milan, who also Schimmel, who's also playing well, shooting the three well for us. I just think across the board, we added a lot of pieces, and I think different people are bringing different things to the table. Jill is growing and getting better and better every day. And so I think that's something that's really good. And so I think we all just are working as a staff to help this group get better collectively every single day. And so I don't know if I could say that I could point out anyone. Really proud of everyone, proud of everyone's ability to adjust and to adapt, and to be in this situation where everything that we're asking them as coaches, that they can come in and help, like, hit the ground running. And because it's a lot to do that and to replace everything that we graduated. But the coaching staff and I are really excited about this group and everything that they bring to the table for us every day.
It always takes an entire team to make it work, and maybe this season more than ever before with who knows who you're going to need to step up at any particular time, and to get everybody up to speed quickly. That's certainly a good sign. We've seen it the last couple of years. I feel like we've had this conversation a lot with saying, yeah, we have some experience coming back, but we have some newcomers that are very talented, and it's just a matter of getting them up to speed. And it seems like you're in the process of doing that.
Yeah, and it's really helped too that set out last year and was a part of that. And adding her in with Imari has been unbelievable. They're our two leading scorers and doing a lot of different things. And so that she's been incredible and been a huge addition for us also too. So really proud of her and proud of her, sitting out and then coming and having the adjustment of being able, and like you said, to have 13 rebounds against the SEC team just really shows how much she's growing and how much she's going to be able to help this program.
And no question that 1-2 post presence, a big highlight for the Bearcats. And I think we're going to continue to see that being a highlight, as both of them averaging double figures. And you talked about Aram's performance on the boards against Florida. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Well, Coach, I think we're running out of time here, but glad to have you joining us for this. Glad to have more of these shows coming up this year. We'll get a chance to, as we said, kind of go a little bit more in depth than we've had in the past, and a great chance to kind of follow this team through what'll be an interesting season.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. I look forward to all of our opportunities, getting a chance to catch up and talk about these amazing young ladies in this program.
No question. It is an amazing group of young women, and we're expecting more of the amazing things we've seen the last couple of years. Coach, thank you for your time, and we'll see you on Thursday for the Marquette game.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, that's head coach Michelle Clark-Hurd. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here for the first time on the Michelle Clark-Hurd Show. I'm Matt Noonan. We'll see you on Thursday. As it stands right now, the Bearcats set to take on Marquette at 2 p.m. at Fifth Third Arena. We'll have the broadcast for you on ESPN+. But until then, so long, everyone.